us calling us the Street Sisters.
Well, aloha, welcome back. Welcome back to the Sister Street Show with Mary and Sharon. We are so excited to see you back here. And we have an exciting, quick episode planned for you all about clarity. So, Mary, kick us off.
All right. Well, thank you, Sharon. And again, thank you for joining us. Clarity. When you think about the word clarity, what comes to mind? Oftentimes it's a vision or a clear vision or seeing things clearly. But what we want to encourage you to do is think about, how do you apply clarity to your business? So for example, do you know who you serve and who your audience is? From my perspective, it's taken us almost 3.5 years to really figure out who our audience is and who we serve. What about you, Sharon? How about you? What does clarity mean to you, and how clear are you with your business?
Big sigh. So we're going on this adventure together, right, everyone? So clarity to me is such an important topic because I believe that it takes, as Mary said, years, but it takes a lifetime to get to true clarity. I mean, your clarity on your life is not going to be crystal clear until you are sitting at that last day and you look back at your life and you see what has happened, what was most important, what, if anything, you regret, and what if and what was the true meaning of your life. And so the same thing with your business. Clarity to me is we're going to talk about it a lot, right? Practice versus polish, but it's the polishing that becomes more and more clear as the fog drifts away and you see what you're looking at, you see what your next step is. It's driving down that mountain road and now you know the direction that you're going on. And that is what our show is about, is creating that roadmap, taking that adventure together, having guides along the way so that you are able to find your own clarity. Because that's what clarity is to me, is it's a personal journey that takes a system on how to, if you're looking at a diamond, how to create the clarity, the cut. It's through precision, it's through experience, knowing how to bring the best out of that diamond. It's the pressure that goes into crafting coal to diamond in the first place. And it is the polish that happens so that you get this beautiful, beautiful vision and diamond out of all of the stuff that we have. So my clarity in who I serve, what I do, is still in process. And yet I am very clear now in what my next journey is for the 3 years specific to my audience and what I offer. So I know that was a lot. And Mary, that was a very simple question you gave me, but to me, clarity is a practice. It's not a destination. When people talk about, I got clarity coaching or I got clarity, the next question you should ask is, oh, great. On what did you get clarity?
Yes.
Because that facet might be more clear, but the whole big picture has so many facets to it.
And so, Sharon, that I love the way you tied that together, and going to that diamond analogy, it's that same thing. When you take that diamond in its raw form to the diamond cutter needs to know, what am I turning this big rock into? Am I cutting it as a diamond? Is it a marquee? Is it a square? How many facets is it going to have? So again, like Sharon said, that clarity might be about one section of your business or your life, but it's the whole, thinking about that whole big picture and how does it tie together? I might be very clear in who my audience is, and yet I don't know what my product is that I'm offering to them. So now I've got my audience. So now I got to go back to my roadmap and go, okay, so what can I offer? What problem am I solving for them? Who do I like to work with? So as you join us on this adventure, those are some of the topics that we're going to be addressing and weaving in and out everything that we do so that you can begin to see how it all fits into place.
Absolutely. And talk about clarity, right, Mary? We had clarity that we wanted to work together, but we didn't have clarity about where or why or what. And so we took those journeys that you mentioned in episode 1 on Clubhouse. We took it on Facebook Live, and there was nothing wrong with those. It was a matter of, did we have clarity? Did we have focus? Did we know our whys? And they keep getting clearer and clearer. So You may see shifts, but we're pretty clear about why we're doing this show and some of the pieces that we want to share, and that there will be so many more breadcrumbs along along the trail, right?
Yes. And I think, pulling that layer back even a little bit further, we had the idea, we worked together, but it wasn't until about a week or so ago when we sat down and said, we're going to schedule a working session for 2 hours. And we're going to ask some really hard questions. Why are we partnering together? What are we trying to achieve? How does this help your business, Mary? How does this help your business, Sharon? What are we doing to provide our audience with the reason to keep coming back? And I think that that's important, whether you're a solopreneur, if you have a small business with a few employees, if you have a big business, is making that time to work with your key players. It could be your spouse, it could be a best friend, it could be a business partner, and saying, can you help ask me some of those hard questions and help me really think through what it is that I'm trying to do and how I am showing up in the world to serve my audience? What do you
Yes.
think?
Absolutely. And that's the sort of difference between like coaching and being a guide, right? Is we're there to reflect back some hard questions, some real life experience from, learn from our mistakes, learn from our triumphs, because that is going to help you gain perspective. And otherwise, if we didn't have that hard conversation, Mary, right? And I've heard this from one of our many guru coaches, I can't remember which one, who said, if you don't have a business reason and a business strategy, then all you have is a very expensive hobby.
Yes, and
Right?
that is
And
so
so
true.
we were having great conversation that we probably put into our calendar. That was a business conversation. Guess what? Without the strategy, we were just friends. We were just spending social time, not business time together.
Exactly. And that's such an important point, and being able to differentiate. And it doesn't mean that you can't have friend time. And getting to know Sharon has been really beneficial to me. It's like, oh, we have this interest, and oh, we have, these likes, and oh, we like to do this. But from a business perspective, because we are limited to the number of hours that we can work each week, how do you get the most value from each hour and still make sure that you're able to do the other things you want to do in your life? One of the reasons I left the corporate world was because I got tired of working those 80, 90, 100-hour work weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And as an entrepreneur, I still find myself working those 80, 90, 100-hour work weeks, but it's a very different feeling because it's because I want to, or because I choose to, or because I have a bigger picture in mind. And
Right.
it's like,
Well,
okay,
and from the entrepreneur perspective, right, your value is in the output. So you get to choose the 80, 90, 100 hours versus in corporate, it's the time, right? So it doesn't matter if you output a single thing, and we all had some of those colleagues, and it doesn't matter if you took all double the hours to put into the output, because it wasn't a matter of the quality, it was a matter of your clock ins and clock outs, or the assumption that if you put in more hours, you're more valuable and you worked harder.
exactly. So, we used to call it FaceTime. It's like, hey, if you showed up and the boss saw you, that was good. But as an entrepreneur, it's my reputation, it's my company's reputation. And it's also what I value. I value providing a quality product and service to my clients. And so I'm willing to do that extra work. But I'm also getting more clear now in the process of, is that person really going to be a good client for me?
Absolutely.
Do they offer something that I value? Would I work for them if I wasn't an entrepreneur? And that's something that I think as you join us on this journey, we'll be touching on as well, is it's okay to say no to a client. And I know when you're first starting out, I know for us at least, we're saying yes to everything because it's like, how am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to keep the roof over my head? We were writing slogans for coffee mugs when we first started out because it paid the bills.
Yep. Yep.
And now we're much clearer on like, this is what a perfect client is for us. And here's where I'm willing to bend. And it goes back to that clarity, who we are, who we serve, and who we want to be in the world. So Sharon, what else would you like to share with us? I know we're going on this adventure, and you can't be on an adventure without something to drink. So When we were planning the show, we were talking about Kool-Aid. And want to tell us a little bit more about that? Because it's a hot day today, at least where I'm at. So let's talk a little bit about drinking the Kool-Aid or being the Kool-Aid.
All right, that's perfect. And I'm sort of curious about your coffee mugs, Mary. So we'll have a conversation about that. But it's about the Kool-Aid, right? And so when you are building your business, when you are choosing the voices that you listen to, you've got a few choices to make. And one of them is, are you going to drink the Kool-Aid? And you might have heard that phrase as in, are you going to get robotized or become a robot and really just sink into whatever company, whatever rhetoric you're listening to? And I have to tell you, there's some value to that, right? If you choose a voice, you gotta trust the process. You have to understand that there are journeys and there are markers along the way, but you might not understand all the pieces until it all comes together. But you gotta trust that the people that you're following, that the guides that are there have a big picture in mind and are feeding you the nuggets that you need. And then the other aspect is, are you going to drink someone else's Kool-Aid, or are you going to be the Kool-Aid and become fully immersed and fully conversant as who you are? And that's kind of what drew Mary and I together, is that we are different flavors of Kool-Aid, but we're not people that are going to feed you just rhetoric from others. We create and co-create our own juice, our own beverages, because we truly believe in what we're doing. And it might be a mixture, and some days it might be a little sour and some days it might be a little sweet, but it is truly crafted with the right intentions, with the heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears that we put into our businesses, because that's who we are and how we live in this world.
Oh, Sharon, I couldn't have put it better myself. And the one thing too, with the following the gurus and the folks that are out there, the other piece to that is, I would say, set some time and set some goals. So it goes back to clarity again. If I'm in so and so's program and I'm doing the work, I'm showing up, I'm doing what I'm being asked to do as a participant in the program. So I'm not talking about I bought a program and it's sitting on my computer and I never used it, but I'm showing up and I'm involved and I'm doing the work. And if after X number of months, I'm not seeing any results, then it's time to take that step back and evaluate, well, did I really do what I was asked to do? If yes, then where's the disconnect? Is it, maybe I've outgrown the program. Maybe this isn't the right program for me. And give yourself permission to say, here's what I learned and it's not serving me. It's time to move on. Or here's what I've learned and I'm ready to go to the next level with this person. And we learned that a lot with my son when he was playing tennis, because my daughter played team sports and her coaches were just always assigned, oh, you're on this travel team. Oh, you're on that travel team. Here's who your coach is. My son played tennis. It was a single sport. I didn't know anything about changing coaches. We were always just assigned a coach. And I mean, it was a heart-wrenching decision when we had to go to his first coach and say, I think we've learned all we can from you. We're going to look for somebody else in order for my son to meet his goals. And so I say, apply that same lens to your business. Have you met your goals? Are you doing the work? Is it time to change? What do you think, Sharon? Because I know we promised to share some of our journey, and I know I've spent a lot of money on coaching and coaching programs, and it's like, oh, this just isn't getting me what I needed.
Yeah, we both have. And guys, if you're listening, share some of the different programs, or actually better, share some questions that you have around how to test against it, because Mary just shared so much wisdom there. And it's kind of a malaise. It's kind of a symptom of entrepreneurship that you love to learn, but therefore you get easily distracted and want to learn everything all at once. And so she shared the nuggets of, make sure that you give each program or each coach the time to assess whether they're right or wrong. And the right or wrong could be, is it the right time in my business for this? There's some things that I've learned that is so brilliant, but I'm not yet at the maturity in my business to be able to take advantage of them. And yes, there's others that you're going to outgrow. And as much as you love that coach or that program, you've got to acknowledge that in your business, it had its place. And as a relationship, you can still speak really well of that coach, but that you have to let go and move to the next level if you have your clarity of goals and the process that you want to do. So good. And another thing we promised Mary in this show was making sure that we gave, okay, who are we not? Because this episode is to say, if you look back at your calendar, it's going to give you clear clarity on where you spent your time and what was valuable. And we want to make sure that this time that you give to us as you choose to listen is valuable. So what do we do? Who are we and who are we not? Well, what we can share from our backgrounds that we said is that we want to fill your time with experience, and we want to make sure that we're testing the engagement level. It was what Mary said. She had to test if she was interested in the content of those coaches, if the content was the right content and was engaging her and really at the level that she needed with the goals, right? So making sure that you have those markers, and then making sure you fill your entire life and your business with the fullness that it deserves. Because if you just fast it out and say, this is my business time, this is my lifetime, you're gonna miss things, because none of us were built to just say, clock in, okay, only work, clock out, only life.
Yes, I used to laugh in the corporate world where it's like, leave your home life at the door. It's like, well, yeah, I understand there are certain things I can leave at the door, but there's other things that I can't, you know? I was working when I had a dying parent that I was also, involved in, and it's like, no, I can't, that parent is sick. I can't just forget about it for 10 hours. I'm thinking about it. It's so again, your life intertwines. And, Sherry told us some about who we are, who we're not. We're not big name gurus. We are good at what we do, and we are very confident in what we do. But you're not going to find us with a 1,000,000-person email list doing, $100,000 launches and stuff, maybe someday. Who we're not people that are going to tell you this is the only way to do something. Who we are is we're going to say, here's what we've tried, here's what worked for us, here's what didn't work, what's working for you, what's not working for you. Let's solve this together. Is there anything else that we're not?
Well, we're not influencers, as you said, and who we are influencers. I mean, I love that word and I love hate, as you can tell, because nobody knows what it means, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure there's many of you out there that will disagree with us, and that's perfectly fine. We don't tout ourselves as influencers, but we actually are pretty influential. And how we know that is because of the action that people take on the people that we have influence over. And so are you who are listening. And so make sure that we understand that some of the things that we're going to do, we're going to clarify what that means. And that's who we are. Is Mary and I come from a professional background where structure is really important, where the process that is followed is really important. We also come from budding entrepreneurs, so we do throw some spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. So that's who we are. We're the mix of that. You won't, we're not going to be people that swear. We're not going to be people that, fly by the seat of our pants. But we are going to be people that explore. We are people that make commitments with discernment of the wording and the integrity that is used with what we want to do. So you'll find that. You'll find thoughtful, professional, creative women, and hopefully men as we bring on additional guests who are committed to each other, who do make mistakes, who sometimes fall into black holes, and who show back up and recommit and explore.
I like that. And I guess the other thing I would add is that if we do introduce like a software or a product or something, we will let you know fully upfront if this is something where perhaps we are an affiliate and we earn a small commission off of it, or if it's something that we found in our own adventure. And I'm all about low tech, high-tech, low-cost software solutions, because as an entrepreneur, especially when you're starting out, you typically don't have multi-$100,000 budgets to go out and buy a lot of software, but there are going to be some tools that you're going to need to be successful in your business. And what we'll share is like, well, if you do this, here's the pros, here's the cons, here's the cost. If you use this, here's what I use. I'm not saying you should use it, because I know Sharon and I use very different systems. And yet we can both talk to it and then say, hey, if you'd like to learn more, let us know. We're not salespeople. We're not selling these products to you, but we also are saying, here's what we found that works for us, where we are in our business right now.
Yes. Well, and we're not salespeople. We are marketers. We are storytellers. And so
Yes.
you will hear different things and you will see our passion. And we encourage you to ask questions so that you're making the right decision for yourself, because we can get very excited about things and we have a high level of influence that's in our charisma makeup. And so we want you to ask the questions. We want you, yes, to believe us, but also believe what we don't know or what we don't say, and ask, because that is co-creative awareness and decision making.
Yeah. And do your research and come back and ask us. It's like, hey, I've looked at this and this. I use, online course creation platforms. I'm a expert with one platform. However, the first question I ask my clients is, what are you trying to achieve with your online course? Now let's talk about the best way to deliver your content. Oh, by the way, I'm also an expert in this platform, so I could probably answer your questions better. That doesn't mean I can't answer your questions. It just may take me a little bit longer because I've got to do some research.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great fun.
I know. I was going to say, this is perfect. And as you can tell, right now, you've started to hear us a little bit and you've seen the journey that we're taking. It's going to be a fun, little bit windy road. And there are going to be pieces along the way that hopefully serve you, maybe all, maybe some, maybe a few. And so stay tuned, check back with us so that you know which series we're doing at what time and which guests we're bringing on, because we're going to have a lot of fun. And Mary and I have so much fun together, but we want to bring you along. So as you can contribute, please raise your hand, because this is a journey where we all learn and enjoy together.
Yes, and we look forward to having you join us on our adventure next time, where we're going to be talking a little bit about engagement and experiential events. So come back and join us. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.